DC Fitness Squad, what is going on? Hope you're all doing well and amazing today. It is your coach, Danny C, coming at you live today. We have a special guest star, my client, Dan DeConti. Dan, what is going on? How are you?
What's up, Dan? Everything's great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Let me make sure Instagram is getting live. Let's go. Thomas is here. What is up, everybody? I want to send some waves. If you're watching this live, Instagram as well, if you're watching this live, hashtag I'm here. And if you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay. I just want to know who's tuning in. I want to know who's getting some value. I brought Dan on the podcast today because Dan is an individual. He's committed, he's dedicated, but he was struggling some time ago. And I know a lot of you watching are struggling yourself. You know, the scale's going up, you're not really feeling comfortable in your skin. And Dan was there, all right, but he lost 30 pounds. He's feeling good, he's feeling confident. So we're going to just kind of bring you through his story and ask him some questions. He's going to tell us about, you know, like where he kind of came from, where he is now, and we're going to go from there. All right. So Dan, is that cool with you?
That works for me.
Let's go. Awesome. All right. I'm going to start the countdown. We'll go from there. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Men's Fat Loss Made Easy podcast, where I'm here to give you massive value that you can implement on your fat loss journey. Today, we are coming at you live with a special guest star, my client, Dan DeConti. Dan, what is going on? How are you?
What's up, buddy?
Let's go. We appreciate you. So I wanted to bring Dan on today because he's an individual that was just struggling. I was telling our DC Fitness Squad before the podcast, he was struggling with weight gain. The scale was going up. His clothes were getting tighter and he needed a change. And I know a lot of you right now need that same change. So we're just going to ask Dan some questions. We're going to see where he's really, came along on his journey, and he lost 30 pounds. He's feeling good. He's feeling confident, and I'm excited to really start this convo with him. Dan, you good to go?
Yeah, man, let's do it. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. I love it. Me too. So let's give the audience a bit of a backstory, if that's okay with you. Like, how old are you? What do you do for work, and where are you from? Let's start there.
So my name's Dan DeConti. I'm 39 years old. I live in Middletown, Connecticut, and I work as a high school athletic director.
Nice. I love it. So, you're working long hours, kind of like what the title says. And because of that, you were kind of putting your health in the back seat, right? And before you started the program, you had some struggles. So share your biggest struggles on your fitness journey before the program, if you can, Dan.
Yeah, I think it was always easy for me to justify why I couldn't work out, right? I couldn't get up and work out in the morning because I had a 12 or 16 hour day ahead of me. So I needed to make sure that I got my sleep in, or I couldn't work out after work because it was already 9, 10 o'clock at night. So it was just very easy for me to justify, not working out. And honestly, I really wasn't eating enough. I'd have an egg and cheese in the morning. I'd have a shake at lunch. And then, later on in the day, I'd come home, I'd eat a whole bunch of junk food and then, have a big dinner. And I just wasn't doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally understand. And kind of like these habits, what did that really lead to? Because like you were gradually putting on weight. So kind of talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, probably since I was 28 years old, I've gone through these cycles of, I'd gain weight, I'd lose some weight, I'd gain it all back, I'd try to lose it again. I was coaching hockey before I was an athletic director. I was coaching for 15 years. So during the winter, again, I'd always stop working out during the winter because it was easy for me to just justify, like, I got an early morning, I have a late night. And so I'd always take the winters off. I'd always try to start up again in the spring, and I'd do okay for a little while. But honestly, my biggest struggle was just with eating. And I didn't realize, what I could eat, how much I could eat. And so that's really been one of the biggest things from the program that I've gotten.
Gotcha. I love it, Dan. Awesome. So you talk about your struggles in terms of like the diet, and you weren't eating enough, and then you would come home, eat late at night, and like all those bad habits that was kind of leading to weight gain and stuff. So how was that kind of negatively impacting you yourself, just going throughout your day, like as a coach, right? You're coaching hockey, as an athletic director now, like how is that kind of impacting you?
Yeah, I just, I really didn't like the way that I looked in pictures. I didn't like the way that I felt. I'd come home, and like I said, I'd eat a whole bunch of junk, and I'd be real tired. I'd lay down in the middle of the afternoon, take a nap, and it just really it just really wasn't what I wanted to be, wasn't who I was when I was younger, and really wasn't just happy with where I was at.
Totally understand. All right. So, yeah, no, I totally get it. Like you were struggling. I know a lot of gentlemen that are listening right now that struggle with the same exact thing. All right. So for you, you started following my stuff, watched my stuff, you reached out for help. But what was your initial hesitation in terms of deciding to work with me?
Oh man, I really, I think there was so many hesitations that I had. I know that I really made you work to sign me on, as a client. And before I get into it, like, I'm so happy that I did.
Mm,
But really, like I said, I went through these ebbs and flows of
mm,
where I was in my weight. And honestly, when COVID hit in March of 2020,
yeah.
like I said to myself, all right, this is it. No more excuses. I've got nothing going on. Like, I'm going to get back in shape. I
Yeah.
had access to the school. I had access to the gym. And so I was doing it. Like, I was at 230 and I was working out every day, and I got down to 210.
Nice.
And then Thanksgiving hit, and like the scale went back up to 215, and I got frustrated. And then from there, it
Mm,
just spiraled out of control. And that's when, I reached out to you. But I wasn't really sure what I was going to get out of the program. Having an online coach,
hmm
I really wasn't sure how that was going to work out. And I know, like, when we originally started talking, I was like, hey, listen, like, I'm in the weight room. I want to work out in the weight room. I want to be in there 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And then I know I remember you showed me somebody's workout, and it wasn't in the weight room. And I was like, Danny, this isn't what I'm looking for. And you were like, no, remember, this is going to be tailored to you.
Yeah.
Um, and then we were talking about using MyFitnessPal, and I never measured anything. So I was like, how am I going to use MyFitnessPal? How accurate is that going to be? And you trusted, you were like, listen, it works. I do this. And really, the ultimate decision was just like, I've tried everything else. Nothing else is working. I might as well just give this a shot. And, that was kind of like the ultimate, but I know that I definitely made you work for it, and I had a lot of questions and a lot of doubts coming into it in the beginning.
No, yeah, it's completely okay. And it's understandable, right? It's very different, the online approach. And like with it, it's just not your generic, like, hey, let me just email you a meal plan, meal 1, meal 2. Cause that's just, you don't learn a lot from that, because like you said, you got to 210, which is awesome. And then you got back up. So now, like, you lost 30 pounds and we want to keep it off. And now you're actually equipped with the skills to keep it off. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And then originally when we were talking, like, what I wanted was, what I was in my mind picturing was like, okay, meal 1 is going to be this, meal 2 is going to be that. But, after we started, I even said to you, like, I realized why you don't do it that way.
Yeah.
And the way it is now works out great.
Awesome. I love it. Yes. So, all right, we've been working together for like 5-6 months now, right? And just honestly, Dan, talk about, some of the results we've been able to accomplish together, if you can.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously the biggest one is that I'm down 30 pounds.
Yes,
But
sir.
also like I'm more into a routine. I get, no matter what my work hours are, I get to bed between 9:30 and 10 o'clock at night. I'm up every day at 5 in the morning. That was one of my biggest doubts, was like, am I going to be able to get up every day at 5? But I'm doing it. I'm there, just making it happen. Everybody has noticed the difference.
Yep.
I had one of my preseason meetings for the winter sports is coming up. And so I had a preseason meeting with a coach this morning, and he walked into my office, and the first thing he said to me was, how much weight have you lost?
Let's go.
So like, he noticed it right away. Here's a guy I haven't seen him since March,
Wow.
And so, yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. I love it. And so, like, you lost the 30 pounds, people are complimenting you and stuff. But like, outside of fitness, outside of like losing the 30 pounds, I mean, you talked about the confidence and stuff, but how has that been positively impacting you, just like outside of fitness itself?
Yeah, I feel good overall. I have a lot more, I have a lot more energy. Like I said, when I was eating the junk food and going home and taking a nap like that, I don't do that anymore. My sleep schedule is on a regular schedule. My wake schedule is on a regular schedule. And also, just in my role, I have more credibility.
Yeah.
I was in the weight room with the football team yesterday and helping some kids work out. And, when they look at me now, at least they can at least look and say, hey, he's backing up what he says, versus, the fat guy that was in there last year that, trying to tell him the same thing.
I love that. Yeah, coming from integrity. I think that's the biggest thing. And when people are in, working with kids or athletes or just being in like any type of setting where you're helping people, whatever it is, even if it's over the phone, I think just integrity, leading by example is so huge because people are going to take you serious. So I love that. And as a result, like, they're going to perform better. Athletes are going to work harder because they see like their leader. All right, he's doing it. I'm going to do it as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
I love it. So, all right, I think we inspired a lot of people with this, but if there's anyone listening to this right now, like thinking about starting their own fitness journey, what would you tell them? What's advice that Dan would give them right now?
Anybody that's watching you that is probably like me, right? They've gone through these ebbs and flows. They've gone through these cycles. They've always said, "Oh, I'm going to start," or come up with reasons why they can't, right? And the biggest thing I would say is number one, start now. The next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next year, it's going to happen. That time's going to go by. Don't look back in a year from now and say, "Oh, I wish I had started a year ago." Just get in there now, do it now. Let go of all of the old thoughts that you've had before, right? And just go. One of the things that was great for me was I just let it go and said, whatever Danny puts in my workout, I'm going to do. Whatever my calories are, I'm going to do. And just letting go of all the things that I used to think and used to know, is number one. Number two is having a coach and having, the DC Fit community. Is great. It really inspires. There's a great group of people in there that you talk about your struggles, you throw up a meal, you put something up, and everybody responds right away and keeps pushing you. It's great to have somebody to be accountable to, and then to have that community support around you too.
That's awesome. I appreciate that so much, man. It means a lot. And yeah, it's just like, and I tell it to everybody, right? If you're willing to really want this for yourself, want to lose the weight, have more energy, like, I'm going to meet you halfway and we're going to do it. All right. And you've just been a prime example of what someone in the program can do. And it's not only inspiring to us as the coaches, but like everyone watching, like they see you post your meals, they see you showing up to the live training. So it's not so crazy that you're getting these results because, dude, you're showing up, you're doing the work, right? And it's like, that's just what it takes. It doesn't really come down to any magic pill or supplements. It's like, if you're just going to do it and have the right guidance and plan, you're going to succeed. All right. So yes, Dan Speaks, the king himself. I love it. I love it. So any final thoughts? You good, Dan? Anything?
Listen, man, I'm having a blast. I'm so glad to be part of this, and I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to keeping going and getting more fit and dropping some more on that scale and just loving life, man.
Let's go. Let's go. I love it. All right, everybody listening to the podcast, or if you're tuning in live, Instagram too. Do we got anybody? We got some people on Instagram. Awesome. We appreciate you. Thank you. Hopefully Dan's story inspired you. He lost 30 pounds, is working long hours, and if he can do it, so can you. All right, so take action. Just like he said, the time is now. And Dan, I love that you said, like, and I always talk about this, time is going to go by no matter what. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you don't want to regret that. You want to actually take action so you can look back and be like, you know what? I did that. I accomplished it. I got it done, instead of just being like, you know what? I should have, or I wish I did. You know what I mean? So I love that you said that. That's awesome. And that's all we got. All right. So appreciate everybody. Thank you, gentlemen. Tune into the next episode. Dan, you can stay right there. It'll hold on. You can hold on right there. And everybody else, we will talk to you soon. See ya.
See you later.
Yes.